Hello and welcome to the top of the world. Now we've got something really different. So we do our normal renovation works to our own buildings, but then there's renovation works to other buildings, most of which happened before I even started my channel, and then COVID hit and we go on and on and on and on with problems. But I do have one to start, and I have one to start today. And basically the scope of the works is this upstairs bathroom first. Now I've already had a problem, is there is no power whatsoever to the upstairs floor, and it's not shut off from the main consumer box. I don't know why there's no power to the upper floor, but there is no power to the upper floor, so we've had to run an extension lead up just to get some lights. So the specification of this job is this is a bathroom, and this is a lady's house. She's lived there for 75 years since it was built by her husband. She's recently died, the house has been purchased, upstairs has not been used for a long time. Can't say how long, but a long time. So we've got to renovate then and modernise this shower room toilet. And the first problem I've got is here, most toilets, shower rooms have wet floors, okay? And they have a drain in the floor. Well, the drain isn't working, and it's nasty. So there are a number of ways I can get around this, or not at all if the drain is actually broken, because even if I put a shower cubicle in, I've still got to run the grey water somewhere. So we're going to dig into this drain, and I've got an idea that I could possibly remove it without completely wrecking the floor, which they'd like to have retained. I'm not sure that's the best idea, but anyway. So if you're a little bit squeamish, I'm going to show you what I'm starting with. Now's probably a good time to look away. Alright. So that's what we've got. It's crusty and it's rusty, and it very clearly does not work. And you can see this. Now that looks like a raised bubble there. I don't think it is, I've felt it. That's just where this nasty mess was taped over the top of it. So I don't think it's going uphill. We can test that with a bit of water. But before we put any water down there, we've got to clean that out. Now I have filled that with water, and I'm not quite sure where the water went. What I do know is it didn't come out in the kitchen. And we don't know whether that's set into concrete yet or wood. However, we can see the way that the floor is heated down with this trim. Can I remove that trim and apply heat and stretch that and revitalise it to open it up? Possibly. I've bought various heat guns with me so I can give it a go. But firstly, we're going to clean this out and see what we see, because that's cast iron in there. Now, if that's broken, right, how's it going to break? Well, if this wing froze and that was full of water, it's smashed to pieces. In which case, if it's continuously used, the water will come out down in the kitchen. Anyway, let's clean it up, see what we've got. So where have I got to? Well, we've thoroughly cleaned that out. In here should be that bolt there, right, which is how you rod the pipe that way. Well, it's so corroded and so rusted, it hasn't been in there in a long time. Can I fix that? Not sure. Have I cleaned all the way down? Yes. Is it block solid that way? Yes. Is this a big lump upwards? Yes. Does this all run uphill right at the lip here? Yes. Has all what's underneath there blown? Yes. So can water run down that anyway? No, it can't. You'd have to fill this entire room with, I don't know, 1/4 inch of water before it flows down that drain. I've removed the sink. How are we doing with this? Well, I've cleaned this one out as well. Right, does that go round the corner and is block solid? Yes. Is that also cast? Yes. Has it blown the floor directly around the top of it? Yes. Oh, right. So here's my thought process now. Let's face it, at the end of the day, this floor covering's just diabolical. Can I fix that drain? No. Can I go over the top of it? Well, no, I can't. So, I've priced various options to go around and over the drains. You know, a raised shower cubicle here. Is that shower in the right place? No. Do they want taps going to this sink? Yes. Have I got to chase this wall out, make a hole, right, and run plumbing to here? Yes. Then at the same time, I may as well move that to the right position, which is there, because it's in the middle of the wall. Right, it's not even in where the shower was. Right, given that, if I remove this toilet and this radiator, which very clearly needs to come off, I may as well take this floor covering up and do the whole floor correctly, because that drain's never going to run. It's never going to run, and nor is that. So irrespective of what I plan to do here with a shower, right, I can't get the grey water out. Does that run? Yes, it does. So I know our downpipe to the cellar works there. What's not working is that connected to that, and this connected to either this or connected to that. What's under the floor? Well, everywhere else there's wooden floors. Have I got a nasty feeling this is either concrete or some sort of board? Anyway, I don't have a drain out of this room. And I think they knew that. I have to take this floor covering up and fix all these drains. And if I fix all these drains, then I don't need to worry about all the things I was going to try and do to get over the problem. It'd be nice if I could put that where the shower's going to be. If I could move that from there, and I've got to take this out anyway because it's no good and the floor's all ruined. So the one thing that the owner didn't want me to do was lift the floor. So I priced every way of getting around it. Well, I can't. And the only way to do the job properly is to lift the floor. So I've got to lift the floor. End of day one. Right, was that difficult? Have I taken all the skin off my knuckles? Yes, I have. Can you see a completely destroyed wall behind me? Yes, you can. Is all the wall covering stuck on with the nastiest, horriblest, stickiest? Well, of course it is. It's thick. It's waterproof. It's supposed to be. Did it take off all the finishing off this wall? Yeah. What is it stuck onto elsewhere? Well, that wall, right, stuck on a hardboard. This wall I'm leaning up against, also stuck on a hardboard. Now, over in this corner, opposite, that I'm about to show you, there was some weird stuff going on with the papering, and I'll show you why. So this is the wall where the weirdness was going on. Right, and this is the chimney wall. Right, quite clearly, right, the render has not come off. Unlike this wall, where all the render has come off. So this was built properly. But, for whatever reason, this has got hardboard over the end here. And they just papered straight over the top of that. Am I going to take that bit of hardboard off? Yes, I am. And you can see it's already delaminating. So we're going to take that off. And I think what we can see behind it, right, I think, in fact I don't know what is behind it. Oh my God. That nasty fibre stuff again. Because obviously that's the turning of the chimney right there. Anyway, can't stay like that. Whatever I do there, that can't stay like that. Right, let's go back to this wall over here. What am I going to do with this wall? Well, no choice. Plasterboard it. It needs plasterboarding. Well, there's no point in trying to render it, make anything of it, and then trying to get a finish on it. No. So we plasterboard that in wet plasterboard. This is all hardboard around here, it all needs cleaning up. Not sure it's the best. Anyway, so, but here's the big thing. Let's turn the lights down. I've taken up the floor. What did the customer say to me? Leave the floor. Don't take up the floor, we save the floor, we can't save the floor. We can't save the floor. Is going against the customer a good idea? Well, no, never. But the customer's not here, the customer's not going to be here for many months, and I've got to make a decision, because I know what he wants, and what he don't want is something bodged up and bodged over. And if I bodge it, right, we don't know what's the matter with these drains yet, there's a kitchen right below us with a finished, exposed wooden ceiling. You know what's going to happen. So the floor has been, we've lost a small patch there, right, and a small patch over there, but it has been finished with a levelling compound. But for whatever reason, they didn't put the drain in at the right level and finish the levelling compound to the drain. Right, so it's quite a nice floor other than that. What is it? Well, I don't know what's under the levelling compound. I don't know what's under the levelling compound. But I do know this is all blown and raised. Right, which is why we had that big ridge there. What's underneath it? Well, let's look together. That. Right. Look at that. So would the water have ever gone down that drain? Well, no. There's more chance of it running out the door before it went down the drain. So I don't know what they've used there, but I can tell you, whatever it is they've used was the wrong stuff. So, you see me, I could almost chip that back, sand that down and run it back to the slope, because the rest of the floor runs to slope. So I don't know what's happened there, whether this has been leaking or what has happened to blow all that, but that's all blown, and that's why there was that big hump in the floor. So now we've got the floor covering up, we're kind of committed, and I've made the decision based on what I allowed, and it's quite important when you do a job, and especially when I've worked in enough of these houses now to know how they're constructed. Okay, badly. As badly as some places in the world? No, but badly. So I had allowed to go up and over and around the whole floor issue. In actual fact, to put a new floor down here, in a nicer colour, and one that's going to be more suited to the modern room that I'm building here, I think I can do it less than the up and overs that I'd allowed for. So I ain't allowed to move the drains, but they're blocked and they're rusted. And they're no good like they are. And I can't run, I've said this, I can't run any water out of this room with these drains like they are. So we'll dig that up tomorrow. We're going to dig that up tomorrow because that one's not run neither. And when I knock the out of this wall tomorrow and put in the first fix, or at least channel out, first fix plumbing here for the sink, first fix plumbing right there for the shower. That's what we're going to do. So that is it for today. That was a lot of hard work getting that stuff up. I'm really pleased that the levelling compound didn't come up with the flooring like the wall here. I can plasterboard that. But if the levelling compound had come up, I'd be in a whole new world of hurt. Now, am I going to destroy the levelling compound depending on what I find with the drains? Right, worst possible scenario is I have to dig that drain all the way to there and make a new connection all the way over there. Right, and then back there. Do we know what's under this levelling compound? No. Am I suspecting it's ply? Yeah. So then, do we take up the entire floor, run the new drains, put down new ply and new levelling compound? Well, when I arrive tomorrow with all the equipment to dig this lot out, we'll find out what it is. Right, so next morning, we've capped off the plumbing and switched the water back on. So the water's now live back in the building. I left it off overnight, and I left it off. I turned it off from the main stopcock. I also left the kitchen tap open. The reason being is if the stopcock doesn't close properly and you leave for the day, for the night, thinking everything's good, and it isn't, you'll come back and this would have been flooded. So stopcocks here are all old. They get turned off occasionally, maybe. Who knows? Who knows whether it leaks? But I do know they do leak. And I do know the catastrophe that happens when they leak. So if you've got to leave a building overnight with open plumbing, relying on the main stopcock, leave a kitchen tap open. Leave the lowest tap you can open. And that way, if any water does seep past the stopcock, comes into the plumbing system, it'll run out of the tap straight down the sink or bath or whatever it is. Anyway, so we're all good and dry, and now we're capped. So that's the toilet pipe, over the shower pipes. Now, Fortunately, we've got no snow loading yet. Is this a load bearing wall? All walls are load bearing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up first and see what we've got in there and which way the pipes run. That will also tell us what the wall's made out of. There's nobody alive that knows where that plumbing comes from or in which direction it goes. So firstly, we'll open up a square around it and then we can see the direction of the pipes. Well, I thought I was having a result. And the reason being is when I uncovered this one here, it's copper. I couldn't believe my eyes. They just didn't use copper. So how easy was that? So I brought that down and chiselled out behind it in a way that I could cut it. And then I can put a T on this, inch facing this way for the shower, half inch facing this way for the sink. Take the sink to there. Take the inch for the shower to there. This pipe, oh, steel. I can't just cut that and join that. So I'm going to have to chase that one all the way down, find out where it's joined, and hope, beyond hope, there's a join down there somewhere that I can undo the join and then go into brass and then into copper. Oh, steel pipes. Yeah. So I was overjoyed to find the copper, and of course followed that one down. This goes into a brass fitting, which goes into a steel 90, which comes out here. Right, lovely. Easy. No, not easy. Well, that's bad news and bad news. So that's steel all the way down, and then as it comes down here, the steel is bent and goes off that way. And the floor is quite thick concrete on top of wood. So the floor is concrete. So that's bad and bad. Okay, so I've opened this up here. So what we're going to have to do is cut the steel pipe off here and put a brass slip collar over the top, which is unfortunate, but that's what we've got to do. I've done it in many applications. Put a brass slip collar over the top and then turn that into copper, and then we can chase the walls, especially now I know the floor's concrete. And we know this drain is rusted through and doesn't work, so I have no choice but to open up the floor. Anyway, there we are. Deep joy. Am I surprised? Nope. Been here before a couple of times. So we started off with a 4-inch floor drain, didn't we? Wow, let me show you what we got now. Well, I ain't no 4-inch floor drain. So this must have been the original floor drain. And they'd kind of used the concrete to go down to here and then fitted this thing on top of that, which was flush with the floor, and that housed the floor drain somewhere up here, like this. Anyway, you can see under here the original wooden floor where it was cut out, and the amount of concrete's on top of the wooden floor. I can tell by the rodding eye this is the way it goes, so I'm going to cut a bit more of this out and then chop this wood out and see what we've got, see if we actually go all the way to that or not. Yeah, cut that out, cut that bit of old flooring out, and then see what we've got underneath it. Alright, well that's that out. Now, I have got a bit of fiddly papery to do. I've got to get the broken end out of that so I can get a clean joint into it. Right, not good, but anyway, I broke it off. So you can see the water damage there. And on the bottom of the bowl, there appears to be a bolt or something coming through it. Well, that's rusted all the way through. So of course the bowl would fill up with water and then it would just drain down there. Why wouldn't it drain down the pipe? Well, you can see the pipe is block solid. So I've got to clean that pipe out and then get that broken collar out, or get the broken pipe out of the collar. The water damage is there. Now, I haven't had water down it for a long time until I put water down it, so it's just localised. But I don't know why that's got a bolt in the bottom of that pole and why it's rusted all the way through. Anyway, there was the problem. The pipe was blocked and the bowl would leak out the bottom. Right, we've got another pipe there, which we've got to go over or somewhere to get where we want to go, or nearer to where we want to go. So that pipe, that secondary pipe you can see there, that is that pipe for the sink. And we want to move that drain, and even if we went there, it would be better. Now the drain we're putting in is obviously significantly smaller than that and plastic. So we're not into this massive, I mean look at that. You could get four modern drains into that hole. Anyway, that's time for coffee now, lunchtime. The other reason I'm showing you this is so that you can see where we've gone from and where we're going to. So I've managed to get that out. Right, so this is, as you can see, rusted in there. That bit of pipe, however it went. Like that. So you can see I took out the front bit first and then busted along the bottom. Right, through here. So the aim of the game is to take out something that's been rusted in there, right, or been in there for 80 years without breaking any of the other cast piping that it's connected to. Right, can't do that. Are you ever going to do it on your first attempt? Maybe. Did I? No. Right, so we've gone from solid block pipe to clean pipe. And then what we're going to do with that is we're going to go from that into plastic. So you've got a reducer rubber here, and then that reducer rubber, it's going to be a bit crude because I'm just going to do it quickly, just so I can show you. That reducer rubber goes in there like that, and then we can use this lovely bit of gadgetry here, and effectively that will go in there, right, with some lubricant and some pressure, and that will take us into push fit 40mm, and that will be able to get us to where we're going with our drain. Okay, alright, that's got that bit of hardboard off, and this fibre stuff, which is used just everywhere, some compressed nasty stuff it is. Anyway, so we've gone from having a ridge to having a lip, and by all intents and purposes this was quite a reasonably wealthy family and a modern home in the 50s. Well, I mean, you know, there's no point me going on about it. Workmanship. Right. Well, now we've got a recess there. And that's quite a good wall, which is a shame. That is quite a good wall. Thing is, whatever I'm going to do there, right, in the future is going to have the same effect, and it's going to clash and move, because we've got stone and concrete here and wood there. So I think, really, for how much it costs and how long it takes me to put up, I think we're going to use wet room plasterboard on this side and just produce two perfect walls. Because I'm going to use a lighter colour in here, and any wrinkles or bad walling underneath, it's going to scream at you, and that's just not the finish that's required. Anyway, I'll think about that and measure the gap. If I put something in there and scrim it over, I will, but I think only because this wall's so good. Almost seems a shame to go over such a good wall.